The number on my phone screen made my vision swim at the edges. I was standing in my Denver apartment, still in my running clothes, checking through my banking app like I did every Sunday morning. But this time, the transaction history stopped me frozen. $28,000 transferred to UNLV Berserker, $17,280 to Southwest Jeep Dealership, $9,000 to Capital One, $4,500 to Nevada Energy, $2,200 to T-Mobile. Line after line after line reaching back a decade. I'd never tallied it up before. Never wished to see the total. $127,463. That number settled in my chest like a stone. $127,000 I'd earned with my own hands drained into a house in North Las Vegas that had never once felt like home. My name is Megan. I'm 32 and I'm a structural engineer. This is the story of how I finally stopped being my family's ATM. I grew up hearing the same words on repeat. You're the oldest, Megan. You take care of your brother and sister. That's simply how it is. My parents, Richard and Gina Holloway, had their own hierarchy, and I learned my place in it before I could spell my own name. My brother, Derek, was born when I was 6, and the moment he arrived, I became invisible, their only son, their golden child, the one who could burn the house down, and they'd blame the matches. My sister, Paige, came along 3 years later, sweet doe-eyed Paige, who learned early that a pout and a tear could get her anything. Together they were the prince and princess. I was the servant who happened to share their blood. The spreadsheet I'd been keeping for years suddenly felt poisonous. Every line was a wound I'd chosen to ignore. Derek's college tuition that he dropped out of after 1 year. Paige's white Jeep that I was still making payments on while she posted Instagram photos with captions like blessed. Credit card bailouts that my mother swore were the last time every single time, should have noticed the pattern. But when you're taught to believe your worth comes from what you give, you don't ask questions. You just continue giving until there's nothing left. 2 months ago, the group chat exploded with Derek's announcement. He wanted a reset weekend. Lake Tahoe with his best friend Owen, whose family controlled half the commercial real estate in Clark County. Our parents were paying flights and the hotel. Paige came along for content. I watched it play through my phone screen like a nature documentary about a species I didn't belong to. Private terminal selfies, a chartered plane, penthouse suite at the Hard Rock, champagne towers and casino chips piled like monuments. Derek filmed himself tossing $100 bills at a craps table while strangers cheered. My mother messaged me that Thursday night. Your brother is actually relaxing. He works so desperately trying to find himself. I nearly laughed. Derek hadn't held a job more than 4 months in his entire life. But in my mother's eyes, he was constantly on the verge of greatness, just one lucky break away from becoming the success she'd always promised he would be. By Friday, their social media had shifted into a highlight reel of excess. Lobster dinners, private yacht cruises, Paige modeling a Cartier bracelet she definitely didn't pack. The comments flooded in. Goals. Luxury family energy. Big sis must be rich. I gazed at that last one until my screen went dark. Our parents had handed Derek $3,000. $3,000, and still they were living like reality TV stars. I silenced the group chat and tried to forget about it. Saturday night at 2:17 a.m. My phone blasted. My mother was hyperventilating so hard I could hardly understand her. Derek's in the emergency room. Security roughed him up pretty brutally. 3 broken ribs. He's shouting. You have to send $15,000 right now or he'll be in torment all night. My father snatched the phone. His voice cracked with a terror I'd never heard before. The casino nabbed him signing markers with a fake ID. They're keeping him until someone pays. The hospital won't give him the strong pain medication without cash up front. He's pleading for you, Megan. Truly begging. I sat up in the dark, my bedroom still, except for their hysteria bleeding through the speaker. My heartbeat should have been racing. My stomach should have been churning with the constant dread that always came with these calls. But something was changed this time. Maybe it was the spreadsheet still open on my laptop, that $127,463 burning like an accusation. Maybe it was 10 years of being their emergency fund finally calcifying into something tougher than guilt. I said 6 words I had ever said before. Call your precious little princess. After I hung up, powered off my phone, and went back to sleep. I woke up at 8:30 a.m. to sunlight spilling through my windows. For a second, I forgot everything. Then I remembered and I felt weightless. Lighter than I'd felt since I was a kid. I kept my phone dead for 2 hours. Brewed French press coffee, took a long shower, read a book, did laundry, normal things. Things I never had time for when I was always putting out fires I didn't start. When I eventually plugged the phone in, chaos detonated. 61 missed calls, 147 texts, voicemails piling 3 screens deep. My mother's messages started begging and turned vicious within minutes. The doctors say 1 hour without medication and he could go into shock. You're hurting your brother. I never thought I'd create a monster. Paige had turned nuclear. She posted a video from the hospital hallway, mascara running down her face, voice trembling with rehearsed devastation. My brother is fighting for his life, and my own sister is declining to send $5,000. She makes 6 figures and she's allowing him suffer. She listed my full name, my company, my city. The video reached 1 million views in 2 hours. Strangers swarmed my inbox. Hope you burn in hell. Karma's coming for you, fake feminist. I scrolled through all of it while eating cereal, feeling absolutely numb. The casino called first. They wanted to run a card to release Derek's ID and close his account. Contact his parents, I said. They're maxed out, the woman replied. Not my concern. The hospital billing department called 10 minutes later. A tired nurse explained that policy allowed cash demands when no insurance was presented. Derek had been given the minimum pain medication, but the anesthesiologist wouldn't proceed without a deposit. Not my bill, I said. Not my obligation. The police called Sunday morning. Officer Navarro, South Lake Tahoe. He explained that Derek had assaulted a floor supervisor at the casino after losing everything. The officer needed 12 stitches. During booking, they discovered Derek had used a counterfeit Colorado driver's license to establish a $50,000 credit line. Worse, he'd forged my name and phone number on the casino paperwork, listing me as his co-guarantor without my knowledge or consent. Felony assault, felony fraud, possible identity theft, bail set at $80,000, cash only. And you're calling me because you're listed as primary emergency contact and co-guarantor on the casino paperwork. I am neither of those things, I said calmly. My brother forged that information. His legal guardians are Richard and Gina Holloway in North Las Vegas. Direct all communication to them. We've spoken to the parents. They're unable to produce the required amount. Your brother specifically requested. Then my brother lied to you. I'm not paying a penny. Have a nice day. I hung up and went for a 5-mile run along the Cherry Creek Trail. That afternoon, my father called from the airport. His voice was raw, broken in a way I'd never heard. Megan, he started coughing. Derek's been gambling for 3 years. Not just weekends, every week. Online, casinos, bookies. He owes $92,000 to people who don't accept payment plans. I stood at my kitchen window watching clouds drift over the mountains. Your mother and I took out a reverse mortgage on the house 18 months ago to cover his first debt. $30,000, he swore he'd stop. He paused, breathing heavy. 4 months ago, it happened again. $55,000, we refinanced everything. The bank sent a foreclosure notice last week. 60 days and the house is gone. He was crying now. We thought one more big win in Tahoe would fix everything. That's why we gave him the cash. He said he had a system. And now you want me to take out a loan for $100,000? I said to save everyone from the consequences you created. He's our only son. I let the silence linger. That's always been the problem, Dad. You had one son and two daughters who never counted. Please,
Technically,
Megan, my VIP floor. He was sobbing openly now. I'm begging you. If you don't help, we lose the house. Derek goes to prison. Your mother and I are homeless at 60. You taught me my whole life that family comes first. That the oldest has to carry everyone. You made that rule. I lived by it for 32 years. And the moment I stop, I'm the villain. He couldn't even form words anymore. I'm not a bank, Dad. I'm your daughter. And you lost the right to ask me for anything the day you chose his addiction over my future again and again and again. You're really going to let your brother rot in jail? He's 26. He made adult choices. Let him face adult consequences. Goodbye, Dad. I hung up and blocked his number. For a full minute, I stood there waiting for the guilt to rise. The stomach drop, the urge to call back and fix everything. It never came. I opened my laptop and pulled my full credit report. The reverse mortgages were there in black and white, both in my parents' names only. My name appeared nowhere. Legally, the house had never been my burden. I poured a glass of wine at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and let myself breathe. The harassment lasted exactly 7 days. Aunt Linda called crying that my mother had a nervous breakdown. Cousins I hadn't spoken to in years sent lectures about family loyalty. Paige posted daily updates. Day 4 without a home because my sister refuses to help. Her GoFundMe reached $112,000. Every dollar donated by strangers who thought I was a monster. On Wednesday of the following week, Clark County issued the foreclosure notice. The house on Coral Springs Drive in North Las Vegas was sealed. My parents had 30 minutes to grab what they could carry. That same Wednesday afternoon, Derek stood before a Nevada judge via video link. The prosecutor presented a plea deal. Felony fraud reduced to misdemeanor, plus required 90-day inpatient treatment at a state facility. The identity theft charges related to forging my information were dropped after I refused to press charges. He accepted the deal. Paige's brand deals vanished overnight. Fashion sponsors dumped her within 48 hours. Reddit threads analyzed every lie she'd told online. Her follower count collapsed by 500,000. A week later, the GoFundMe was locked, pending fraud investigation after donors discovered the money was going to Paige's personal account rather than any family emergency fund. I followed none of it directly. I'd already switched my number, blocked every family account, and made my social media private. On Sunday night, I finalized a lease on a new loft across town. The movers arrived Monday at dawn. By noon, I was away. I didn't submit a forwarding address with the post office. The silence that followed was stunning. No more 2 a.m. emergency calls. No more Venmo demands disguised as emergencies. No more guilt hidden in the word family. I walked to my new corner coffee shop every morning and bought the same oat milk latte without anyone asking me to spot them $10. I hiked alone on weekends and didn't have to justify why I couldn't send plane tickets. I cooked dinner without that constant background hum of dread that someone was about to crash and blame me for not catching them. One evening in late August, I sat on my balcony watching the sun drop behind the mountains and noticed I hadn't felt my shoulders tense in almost a week. I uncorked a bottle of wine I'd been saving for a celebration that never came, poured a glass, and let myself cry. Not from sadness, from sheer dizzy relief. Cutting them off wasn't malice. It became oxygen. I finally understood that love doesn't demand self-destruction. That boundaries aren't treason. That choosing myself wasn't punishment I was imposing on them. It was the consequence they had deserved. One unpaid bill, one excused lie, one mortgage promise at a time. Through mutual acquaintances on social media, I heard what happened to them over the following months. My parents moved in with Aunt Linda in Henderson, sleeping in her repurposed garage. The bookies eventually stopped circling once Derek entered the state facility with nothing left to take. Paige moved into her boyfriend's studio apartment in Summerlin after her influencer income dwindled completely. Derek finished his 90 days and secured a job washing dishes at a diner in Reno. Court ordered to remain out of casinos for 5 years. My mother attempted one last time. A letter appeared at my old apartment building 3 months after I'd moved. My former neighbor, Mrs. Chin, noticed my name and tracked me down through LinkedIn to forward it. Inside was a Polaroid of me at 6 years old, gap-toothed and smiling in a backyard pool. "We're sorry," was scrawled on the white border in her handwriting. I stared at it for a long time. Then I tossed it into the recycling bin with the junk mail. I didn't resent them. Resentment takes energy. I had simply run out of anything left to give. I turned 33 that fall. I bought myself a cake, invited 3 coworkers who had become true friends, and we ate it on the balcony under string lights. Nobody asked me to cover anything. Nobody cried. Nobody posted about it online seeking pity. Just laughter. Red velvet crumbs. A sky full of stars that finally felt like they belonged to me. I slept with the windows open and woke up to birds instead of guilt. For the first time in my entire life, the only person I had to carry was myself.